I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
Yes, 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 yes.
C and yes.
C. Welcome to episode 61. Are we calling it 61?
I've been debating that all week. Is it 61 or 62? Because we had 60.5, so I guess technically this should be 61.
60.5 was a special edition of Podcasting the Immortals, so I don't think we should count that in the annals of history.
Yeah, you're the expert on anals, so we can go with 61. Let's do 61. But we'll know when we break it down. We'll say we've had X amount of episodes.
Break it down.
Because it's weird. Technically, that was one episode by itself. It was not half an episode.
It was about 40 minutes.
And this won't be half an episode. So is this 61.5? Because this is a whole episode. We're like NFL defensive linemen. Like we got a half sack,
half a ball sack. But yes, episode 61 we'll call it today.
Yeah, 61. I like it. We'll go with that.
We're a little later than usual. We've had some scheduling conflicts. I was called into work last night. You had some stuff going on today. I had some stuff going on today. But it was good because I got some like news like about Raw after Raw that I wouldn't have had if we'd recorded yesterday. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's good. I know initially we had talked about possibly recording Monday night after Raw, but I was exhausted. You were tired. I think you said you went to bed at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I actually got in trouble. I went home from work an hour early on Monday, and then my boss found out and she yelled at me, even though I came in an hour early. But I was in trouble, but I didn't even care because I went home at 4. I had like a sandwich, and then I fell asleep at 5, and I woke up around 8.
I was so tired that I waited to watch Raw so I could skip commercials. And I remember thinking, there's no way that I'm going to be able to stay up and do a podcast because I had to work early in the morning on Tuesday. I was exhausted. So I texted you and you're like, yeah, I've been asleep since 5. So it was perfect for me. I was so tired that when we get to the main event on Raw, I don't think I can speak rationally about it because I could not keep my eyes open. I was so tired.
Yeah, it's been a week, that's for sure. At my store, we're remodeling, so I put in 100 hours, and I got called in, and it's been a week, that's for sure. But you I'm sure have had quite the week as well. For anyone who follows you on Twitter, you saw some news. You want to break it down?
I will be moving from Duluth to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area starting February 16th. My final day at the Duluth News-Tribune is Friday, February 14th, and I will be starting a new job with the Children's Hospitals and Clinics of Minnesota, working at its Minneapolis campus as the social media specialist for children's, and I'm ecstatic. It's something I've been hoping to get for the past few months, and I was fortunate enough to have an offer extended my way last week. Took the weekend to think about it, talked to my fiance Kate, and figured out what we were going to do. She was looking for work in Duluth because she lives in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and we were going to see whoever got something first and take it from there. And she's actually still in the running for something in Duluth, and it was hard to say yes, but I didn't have the luxury of having a bunch of time to kick it around. But when we weighed everything and we took all weekend to chat about it, it's a good opportunity for me, and I think it puts the two of us in a great spot and we've both wanted to live in the Twin Cities. She's from Duluth. She has been in the Twin Cities metro area for, I think, 8, maybe 9 years now, and really wanted to stay there. Other than the fact that our families live in Duluth, and that we do love Duluth. Other than that, we wanted everything to kind of be in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. It was important to me, as a 32-year-old who has never lived anywhere else, to kind of take this chance to find a new place and memorize new roads, meet new people. But don't worry, this will not impact the show. I mean, the show will still go on. I'll still be on the show. For the time being, we'll just improvise. I think what we'll do is we do have this fancy new mixer and this computer setup. So what we'll do is we'll just pop Matt's iPhone in and connect it to the computer and to the mixer, and we'll have me via phone, I guess.
Via satellite.
Andy McKinnon will, I think, probably become more of a regular contributor to the show now that he will be, the only guy between the two of us in the flesh here to hang out with you. And, who knows, maybe someday, I don't want to put words in your mouth or ideas in your head, but maybe someday you will move to the Twin Cities and we can reunite.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Oh, yeah.
Reunited and it's understood. Ooh, that's some good harmony.
I don't know the rest of the words to this song,
and it sucks.
But I can't wait to be reunited with you, 'cause it's gonna be long. What you said.
It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. I came to play. Okay, so anyway, I'm excited, but it is bittersweet. I enjoy the job I currently have. I'll miss everyone there, but I feel like it's time to go. I'm ready, and I'm gonna miss having you to hang out with every week and do the podcast in person. But we will make this work for the love of wrestling. The WWE Network will help now because we're guaranteed to see these pay-per-views, even if we don't see them together. So
can I get it on record right now? Now that you're making buku bucks, you're moving up in the world. Will you be at WrestleMania 31 with your co-host Matt Bush?
I guaranteed already that
I want it on air.
On air, I will be at WrestleMania 31.
Let's shake on it.
Yep, Santa Clara, California, 2015. And for those of you who don't have the benefit of being in this room with us, he just took his middle finger and rubbed the center of my hand.
That means it's bros for life.
Rubbed it right on my palm. There we go.
Well, for real, I'm very, very happy for you. I'm proud of you. I think this is awesome. I'm going to miss the shit out of you.
Matt, you're embarrassing me.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. But yeah, I'll be at 31. I'll be at 32. I plan on making WrestleMania an annual trip, barring, of course, if they decide to have it in like Moscow or something one year. I'm not going.
Where Sochi?
Yeah, Sochi. Let's have the Olympics in a city no one's ever heard of. That's a great idea.
Yeah, where they can't even afford like stalls for urinals, and they're like literally doing construction on the stadium. Oh my god, it's gonna be terrible.
I'm kind of laughing because don't get me sidetracked here too much. I hate the Olympics. And it's not because I am not American or because I hate America. It's that, and look, I love watching hockey. I love it. But I mean, they could have that tournament and it doesn't have to be the Olympics. It can be another international competition like the World Cup of Hockey. But the Olympics to me are a con. You convince some city or nation to host it. You make them build millions and billions of dollars in infrastructure that once it's over, it just sits idle. There's nothing to use it for. The place goes in debt, and they're like, oh, it will have this much economic impact. It's a farce. And the other thing it reminds me of is these, now Minnesota's in the running to host the Super Bowl in 2018. And everybody, I say everybody, but everybody who's on board and excited about it, they're like, oh, well, it's going to bring this much money to the state or whatever. 1, show me proof. 2, no one has ever, as a fan of sports, bragged and been like, we hosted the Super Bowl. You want your team to go to and win the Super Bowl. That's all that matters, not hosting the game.
Well, the Vikings could go to their first Super Bowl as spectators in 2018.
Well, no, they hosted it in 1992, Super Bowl
that they
26.
did in the Metrodome.
And that was the Washington Redskins defeating the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
Mark Rippon was the MVP of that game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
And Mark Rippon is cousins with former Minnesota North star Shane Churla.
Nice. I would rather have a WrestleMania in Minnesota. Make
Same.
that happen. I feel like they kind of missed the Midwest. I mean, they hit Chicago at 20.
They had Ford Field
or 2, and Detroit in like 23.
Yeah.
Or 24.
I'm trying to think of. Yeah. I guess there aren't too many other places that you would expect WWE to go. When it has so many other cities, it has to spread itself out too.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is doable though, and in fact, when the talk about building a stadium for the Minnesota Vikings was in full swing, one of the key attractions was you can have events like WrestleMania and the NCAA basketball tournament. So hopefully it wasn't just cheap talk, and they actually have a WrestleMania someday. That would be awesome.
I mean, I do like traveling, and it is awesome going to places like New York and New Orleans. I'm very, very excited for. I can't wait to get some jambalaya. I might be more excited about that than anything. I do have an update on my trip.
Oh, please tell us.
Well, as a lot of people know, if you listen to episode 60, not 60.5, I had tickets to go see CM Punk. And then if you listen to episode 60.5, you found out that that wasn't going to happen anymore, and that it was replaced with Ric Flair. Well, now that has been changed for me because they offered an exchange for a different superstar, and now I will be meeting Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Yay. So that's very, very exciting. I can't wait. I'm looking across the internet for a Rob Schamberger painting of his, which I could have bought on WWE auction, but it was like an authentic, like a real one instead of a print.
That was
like
one was
$500
awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was sweet. If hopefully they make a print before WrestleMania. If not, I'll just talk to Rob Schamberger at WrestleCon and make him paint me one right there.
we have to have Schamberger on the show.
That would be sweet. He was profiled on
Bleacher Report
today. Yeah, I actually read that article.
I need to read it. I have not read it. I just saw that he posted about it.
Yeah. He actually wrote to me because I was asking about CM Punk prints.
Dearest Matt, I'm trying to paint
Dear reader,
an inspirational photo of you. Will you come be my muse?
you sound like Jack Handy right now.
And now,
Deep Thoughts
by
with
Jack Handy.
Handy.
It's by Jack Handy.
By Jack Handy.
By Jack Handy.
I hope we're not aging ourselves right now. We should talk about some wrestling though.
Let's do it.
John Cena was pulled from a live event on Sunday with an eye injury.
He can't see you. Just kidding.
Then he was not on Raw, but after Raw on Monday, he did clear out the heels who ended up attacking Daniel Bryan after the main event, and attacking them and clearing the ring after Raw went off the air.
I saw that. I didn't see it. I read about it. John Cena didn't see it either. Lay your ass down for a 3-second tan. Your time is up. My time's now.
Your time is now. So I was curious after CM Punk was not on the show that John Cena was also not on the show, and I thought it was because of the injury until I read this. So what? Why were they holding him out?
I thought it was because of his eye injury. I thought that's why they were holding him out, was because of his eye injury.
But then he came in right after Raw went off the air. But he was there.
He didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to wrestle. He didn't have to talk or anything. He didn't have to stand out there for a long time. He had to just give an attitude adjustment to Kane and Randy Orton. Dr. Ton.
Dr. Tom. Fair enough, I suppose. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at Instagram.
Looking at Instagram, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, no John Cena on Raw, and I don't know, maybe he's still trying to get over that injury that he sustained.
That's probably it. I mean, why else would they hold him off? Other than the fact that he's probably a little sore. I mean, the man did have surgery not too long ago.
That's true.
So he could have used the night off. But it is funny that they wouldn't even have him on there to talk. I'm okay with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with him not being on.
Just seemed odd timing.
It was it also, there was, oh gosh, someone else was absent from the show. Oh, Brock Lesnar,
No
Paul
Brock.
Heyman,
No Paul Heyman.
Big Show.
CM Punk.
CM Punk, of course.
So yeah, interesting. Stacy Keibler. You read about this? Apparently,
That was me shaking my head.
Yes,
No.
he shook his head no. Apparently, WWE is trying to bring her back, get the legs of the WWE back into the dub.
I Chihuahua.
Yay or nay? What do you think?
I don't know. See, more and more people are becoming part-timers. I don't see her coming back and doing a regular schedule. She does other things with her life now.
Namely George Clooney.
Not anymore. They're not together.
Really? Who's...
Yeah, they split up like 8-9 months ago. Matt's pulling up his pants, making some adjustments.
But I guess I should have caught E News. I guess in the last few months.
E News or TMZ, I'm all over it. I don't care if she comes back. I mean, she's not. It's not like she ever really wrestled a regular schedule when she was a part of WWE. She was more of a valet. But maybe I'm contradicting myself because I don't mind if there are people in WWE just for the purpose of being valets. So if she wants to, great. But I don't see her staying for a long time. I'm a little all part-timed out right now.
Yeah, it does seem like the I don't have a word for it, but yes, there are a lot of part-timers.
There's a lot of retreads. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, let's bring so and so back.
Yeah, hey, remember when he used to wrestle? Well, now he's 45 and he's back for 3 months.
Ugh.
No one gets higher than RVD.
Rob Van Rod.
Rod. So yeah, Stacy Keibler possibly returning. Apparently, it's a sizable offer that they're throwing out there. I don't know if she's worth the money, but she has crossed over into mainstream popularity, so maybe you'll get some more eyes on the product.
See, I don't buy into that stuff though. People always say that. Like, does WWE really believe that there's this fan base of people out there that follow Stacy Keibler and they're like, oh, that lady who dated George Clooney for 10 minutes is going to be on wrestling. Let's watch.
I seriously do.
Really?
Yes, because I don't know, like females, like my mom and stuff,
Yeah.
they'll see this celebrity on Dancing with the Stars or something, and then they'll be like, oh, so-and-so is going to be on whatever. I need to watch that. And it literally happens, but it's not going to be long-term like viewing for these people. So I think they need to worry about getting their base of like real fans up rather than just temporary eyes onto the product.
Betty White is going to be a guest on Monday's
Oh,
Raw.
God, yeah.
I can't believe for a second that there's going to be some Betty White market where people are like, oh my gosh, which is the white market, different than the black market, the Betty White market, that they're going to just tune into wrestling because Betty White's on there. If anything, their fans are going to be like, well, I can skip Raw this week, or at least a giant segment of it.
Yeah, fast forward, DVR.
And that's with all due respect to Ms. White. I think she's awesome, but
She doesn't. She shouldn't be in the squared circle.
no. And I can't.
What is she gonna do? Punch out freaking Drew McIntyre or something?
What if she's going to be playing the character of Mae Young?
Oh God,
Because
I hope not.
they were the same age.
I hope not.
I just don't understand the whole. They'd be a waste of money to bring Stacy Keibler in there. It's just, it's insane
Yeah.
that they would think that would boost ratings.
People like her.
Yeah, people like her. I like her.
I like her.
But she's not going to make me watch wrestling. She's not going to make me get anything that I wouldn't already get.
I might enjoy watch wrestling more if she was going over the second rope and getting into the ring and
I don't
wearing
know.
the
It's PG, man. It's PG.
Thinkaker.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, talking about something that isn't PG, Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view, was announced where it's going to be.
And
The Izod Center in New Jersey.
oh,
Home of the famous, fabled Raw after WrestleMania 29. Will have its first event there since then.
have you gotten your Slammy yet?
No, I keep checking the mail. I was checking UPS tracking. I didn't even see anything on there, so I don't know what's going on.
That's a raw deal, if you ask me.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
that's some gentle comedy. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty exciting news. Seattle was in the market to get the pay-per-view.
Key Arena.
Yep, so maybe they'll use that like against Daniel Bryan as well, because he's from Aberdeen, Washington. Seattle fan. Maybe it's another slight to Daniel Bryan.
No. Daniel Bryan. I heard that WWE was actually going to have the Broncos win the Super Bowl just to piss off Daniel Bryan.
Just to bury him more.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty epic.
That would have been awesome. You know that if there was an XFL, they'd have a team in Seattle and it would have lost.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
Sorry, that was my Matt impersonation.
For sure. Getting that for sure.
Oh, I'm Matt. For sure. For sure. Anytime someone makes fun of somebody, you have to talk like, oh, you have to say, oh, and then talk like this.
Whenever I tried to
Was that Milton from Office Space?
No, that was I don't know what that was. It could have been Milton.
Or that was, what was that, like an impersonation of someone else doing Homer?
Do you want to hear my Homer? Have you heard my?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Haven't done it on the podcast?
Yeah, you've done it a few times, but do it again. You probably haven't done it since episode 33.9.
And that's the lost episode.
Yeah.
Marge, might just be the beer talking, but you've got a butt that just won't quit. $5. Get out of here. So
I like it.
All right.
That's excellent.
My favorite line from The Simpsons is when Homer goes to the post. He had sent a terrible letter to Mr. Burns, basically quitting.
Yeah, I remember.
And he decides he wants his job still, so he goes to the post office, and he disguises his voice, and he's talking to the person at the post office. And he's like, "Hello, my name is Mr. Burns. I believe you have a letter for me." He's like, "All right, Mr. Burns, what's your first name?" "I don't know." And then he yells at, "Great plan, Bart." It gets me every time. It's just so funny.
Can you do his dope?
Dope.
That needs some work.
Oh, really? Really? All right.
The quickie mud is really dope.
Okay. Okay. It's hard to get out of that once I get. Okay. Dolph Ziggler, and I know that you saw this, and because
you were watching me, not because you asked me.
Yes. Because we talked about it before we went on the air. But he got an absolutely epic promo on the WWE app, which very few people saw, I'm sure. But
hold on, there's an app.
There is an app, and now it's on Android.
If I had an Android device, how would I download that?
You would go to www.com and just watch the instructional video.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to actually play his promo because it was so good. It was just so good. So I will do that now.
Thank you.
In Toledo, Ohio, with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph, unfortunately, came up on the short end of the stick against Antonio Cesaro in that Elimination Chamber qualifying match. How do you feel?
Not exactly sure how I feel. I've my entire life, literally since I was 5 years old, I've done things that other people not only can't hang with me, they just can't do. I've been a winner. 5 years old, I started wrestling. I lost my first match, and I pretty much won ever since that. High school, college, you name it. And it's not just the athletic ability that I have. I have this thing known as the it factor, where you can strike up a conversation with anyone. You can step into something that's not your comfort zone. You can go on a media circus for 12 hours and you can still go to work on no sleep and go out there to the ring and do what you do better than anyone else in this business. And I know it sounds like I say it a lot because I do it every single night. I swear, every night! Every night! I deliver! I deliver! And what do I get for it? I get pulled aside and say, hey, don't be so good. Hey, you're not doing this right, you're doing this wrong. But you know what? I've seen Monday Night Raw. I've seen Friday Night SmackDown. I know what's right and what's wrong. And if everyone is in my head telling me what's wrong, I know that I am right. Everything I do is to become better, the best ever. And I'm not going to stop until I reach that point. And I don't know if I can continue doing this. Been told I'm a loser. I've been told I suck. I've been told I'm not tall enough. I've been told I'm too loud. I've been told I run my mouth backstage. You know why I run my mouth? Because if you can get in the ring with me, one person backstage, one person in the office, in the mailroom, a superstar, you name it, one person outdoes me in this business in any aspect, in the back, in the ring, at my house, I don't care. I will not be outshined.
I will outdo him at his house.
I somehow doubt that. But holy crap.
Dolphy Wolfie. That was exclusive to the WWE app. And I guess it wasn't exclusive because I saw it on WWE.com.
And we just played it on Podcasting Immortals.
There goes your exclusivity. Boom. Gone.
But that was an absolutely incredible promo.
Promo courtesy of WWE.
WWE. This is the kind of thing I've been clamoring for, and they've gotten away from since probably the early 2000s. And that's the off-the-cuff, unscripted promos that Stone Cold was so good at, The Rock was so good at, CM Punk is so great at, and obviously Dolph Ziggler.
Khali.
Khali.
I mean, Khali's right up there with all those guys you mentioned.
Of course.
Hey, happy birthday dance.
That was actually better than Khali could ever say.
Happy birthday, Natalia. Run, blood.
What is that? Is he a dinosaur?
Hurry, scaly skin.
In heat?
Robbo.
Okay.
Not sure what that was. This is bad.
This is veering off in weird ways.
I took us off course. Let's go back. You were saying, he cut a great promo. I'm assuming it was off the top of his head.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the writing staff is sitting there going, God, what are we going to have Dolph Ziggler say on this interview on the app with this random guy?
He was there to show the world.
He was
there to show the world. Come on, bring it on. Do what I say. Better watch what I do. Better heed the warning I'm giving to you. If you ever doubted me, you don't have a clue.
I'm here to show the world. There's been a lot of singing in this one. The point I'm trying to get
believe in miracles.
Doom, 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 doom.
What were you trying to say?
What I was trying to say, and why I brought this up, is do you think promos like this, promos like the pipe bomb, are going to come back in fashion?
I have.
A lot of things.
I want to get off my chest.
I hate
this idea
that you're the best.
And if you're not down... Oh, wait, that's not part of it. You know what I realized?
Whoops. Breaking the fourth wall.
So what did you ask? You asked me the question about the pipe bomb?
The pipe bomb, yeah.
Okay, no, before I answer that, you know what I realized when I listened back to our podcast? There are like 2 or 3 times each episode that like you say something funny or like important, and I just totally ignore you.
Totally disregard me. Yeah.
Like I'll be listening back and I'll be like, I'm hearing it for the first time, and I realized like, holy crap, I was like tuned out when he was talking. I didn't pay attention. So okay. I'm apologizing right now.
You and the entire female gender seem to have that problem.
On episode 61.08, I am apologizing right now.
61.08.
I have a lot of things I got to apologize for. So yeah, because you'll bring up great points or you'll say something funny and then like I completely dismiss it because it's not because it's not relevant. It's because I'm not paying attention. And I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you're leaving.
I have a confession. I didn't really get a job. I'm just not going to have you on the show anymore. Yeah. I'm going to just do this myself with my cell phone, and that's it.
Dang.
I'm just going to Vine the show. That's it. It's just going to be, every episode will be 6 seconds long. Like, some might be shorter.
It'll be like the weatherman from Family Guy. Like, hey, how was Raw?
Bam! Rain. Randy Orton got peed.
Vintage. So, my point.
Vintage Michael.
My point about
and not good it can be.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on.
No. Your point about the pipe bomb.
The pipe bomb and Dolph Ziggler's promo. is should they go more unscripted? I know that we get terrible promos out of it when sometimes.
They should go unscripted because it's putting trust in your talent. Now, if there are people there, as I'm sure there are, who are incapable of doing that, then they don't belong there. You need to have trust in your talent. You need to allow them to do this. It was done years ago, and of course we got flops. I mean, you think about it was never scripted before, or very rarely. And
go and look at some Ultimate Warrior promos.
and you get flops, sure, but that's okay. Now you've got people involved who either didn't watch wrestling, or, I mean, I know for a while WWE had people, Hollywood writers come in and do the writing. It wasn't necessarily wrestling purists. Have people just go off the cuff, and if they can't cut it, bye-bye. They got plenty of people. I mean, we just had a show that didn't have John Cena on it. They've got plenty of talent. You can get rid of some of these guys. I don't care. I mean, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose his or her job, but if you can't cut it in the big leagues, don't be playing or something. That's how the expression goes. I think George Bush said that one time.
Yeah, he said a lot of things. So, yeah, I mean, I just hope that they see this promo and that they see he has the talent to do this kind of stuff and give him something to do, Apparently this promo and The Miz walking out he was on commentary on a match on Raw this week, and he walked out saying, like, how are these guys in a match while I'm just sitting here on commentary? Apparently that's connected, and they're going to have like a tag team between Dolph and The Miz, like the Frustrated Duel or something like that.
Are they going to call it Dolph Miz?
The Showsome or something like that. Show.
I'll call it Ziggler.
Ziggler.
Oh God, they will. They'll call it Ziggler. Oh my God, they will. I guarantee it. They'll call it Ziggler, and then you and I will laugh all the way to the bank because we will copyright it.
Their finisher will be the Mizzeg.
Should we copyright Ziggler right now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's make a site.
Let's copyright Ziggler, and then we can sue WWE.
It sounds like you're saying Miss Ziggler.
It'll be Miss Ziggler. Capital like,
Miss Ziggler, can I go to the bathroom?
Miss Ziggler, Matt just punched me in the butt.
In the butt?
Yeah, you punched me in the butt. That's the meatiest part. You didn't want to hurt me, so you just punched me in the butt.
Right on. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Do you know what the largest organ in the human body is?
Skin.
I said in the human body.
Oh.
No, I don't really know. I was going to say skin.
Oh, okay.
Did you know it takes skin to win?
What? I don't know. What? Did you take some ludes or something before?
No. Like, what are ludes? Quaaludes?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
I'd be dead, wouldn't I?
No.
Oh. I don't know.
I just watched Wolf of Wall Street and they were taking ludes.
I'm not a great drug mind. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't do drugs.
That's good.
I drank a Red Bull a little while ago.
I can tell. That's what it was.
Yeah, I had a Red Bull.
Okay.
And I'm excited about the other one that's in my fridge that I'm going to drink.
The WWE Network is coming.
Yes.
February 24th.
We're here.
They announced
that Matt is going to buy it and stop leaving his house. He's going to stop leaving his house. So, boss at work, be mad at him because he's never coming back.
Okay, and they also announced that the WWE Network is going to carry certain pay-per-views, and they listed every pay-per-view that's going to be on the network at launch. And it's basically all of them. I didn't see any omissions, including 1999's Over the Edge pay-per-view, which infamously had the death of Owen Hart. And I was shocked that this was going to be in it, but I mean, they came out and they said, everything's going to be on there and it's going to be unedited. So it will be curious to see what they're going to do with that.
They're going to do just the way it was. I mean, when that happened, it was never seen. It was not on TV because they were running a promo between matches when it happened. They were running a commercial advertising a match. And it may have even been that match, The Godfather versus the Blue Blazer for the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I actually watched a clip of it, and it's never aired since the original night because they canceled the reruns of it, where you can order, right after.
The encore presentation.
Yeah. And they never released a DVD. So the only time you could ever see this was during the first pay-per-view showing or, if you found a tape or something. And I saw it online, and it was you hear Jim Ross go, "Oh God," and they cut to the back, and it's actually Owen Hart giving a promo. It was a pre-recorded interview, giving a promo, and then they come back, and it's on Jim Ross and the crowd. You don't see anything. Jim Ross talks about this terrible accident and how
it's not part of the show.
Not part of the show. It's not part of the scripted fun. This is really happening. And then later on, they cut to the back, and Jeff Jarrett's giving a promo, and you know his valet is almost in tears, and he's saying, you know, Owen, we're thinking about you. And after he cuts
his valet, that was Deborah.
It was Deborah,
Stone Cold's ex-wife.
It was, and he's
future ex-wife
really
at that point,
bizarre.
or current wife at that point.
It was really bizarre because Jeff Jarrett's talking about Deborah's puppies and how, you know,
Deborah wants short puppies.
Yeah, and how people, some like whoever he's fighting, I forget, wants to get at Deborah's puppies.
He might actually. I'm trying to think. I thought he was in that feud. Okay, because he was. I think The Godfather was the IC champion, or was Jeff Jarrett the IC champion?
Ooh,
because I think Godfather was supposed to fight the Blue Blazer.
Yeah, the Godfather was supposed to fight the Blue Blazer for the Intercontinental Championship.
Okay, all right, so he was the champion then.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
But yeah, so the promo is really weird because after he's talking about puppies and stuff, he's like, "Oh, and we're thinking about you," you know? Yeah. It was really bizarre. And then they come back, and it was after the Mankind match later on in the night was when Jim Ross told everyone that Owen Hart had indeed passed away from his injuries. He had fallen from the roof and hit his chest on the turnbuckle, I believe, and the show stopped for 15 minutes, and they got a lot of flack for going on with the show afterwards, but it's going to be on.
They were now, was it in Kansas City or St. Louis?
Kansas City, I believe, yeah.
The reason they gave for continuing is they said the show must go on, and they were afraid of potential rioting from fans in the arena if they stopped the show, and that's why they continued with it. That's the explanation WWE gave that night.
I don't buy that at all. Kansas City, really?
No, but I mean,
Vancouver, maybe.
I'm not agreeing with them, but that was the explanation that time.
Yeah.
And I have seen that video too. I think I caught it on YouTube one time, and then there was another time I was looking up the video, and I knew it didn't exist or whatever, but I wanted to see what you had just described. I watched it years ago, back like when YouTube was around like 05, 06 when it first came around.
What is it called? YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh, I think I remember that site.
Or is it
back when it was around?
Or is it YouTubey? Yeah, it's not there anymore. I checked.
MySpace.
I checked. Oh wait. I misspelled. I think I was just putting letter U and then tube.
That sounds right.
But there was like a video. Someone made like a reenactment in a video game, and I don't know if they had like an emulator or whatever where they could manipulate it, but they had a guy who looked like Owen Hart fall from the top of the screen and into the ring and get hurt. Like people had written in comments like, "F you, you're gonna go to hell for this," and all this stuff.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. We should get into Raw though. There's no easy transition from Owen Hart to that, but
what's funny is
great round.
Coincidentally, this will not be the last time Owen Hart is mentioned tonight.
Why?
Well, we'll get to it later.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. I got you. Randy Orton comes out, met with CM Punk chants, and he blew through his promo, and that was per WWE. They told him to do that so that the crowd couldn't hijack the show. But apparently the people in the crowd reported that if you were in the crowd, you could barely hear Randy Orton talk because the CM Punk chants were so loud.
Some of the pre-show chatter was that the momentum had picked up around the time they do that promo before the show starts, when they cut in towards the end of NCIS where they show the crowd or whatever, and that the chanting was really loud then, and that it had died down by the start of the show. But yeah, it was clear that Orton was blowing through his promo, not even taking a breath or a moment to pause, and you could tell it was intentional.
Yeah, he sounded like a 4-year-old telling. Or like a 5-year-old telling about like their first day of school. Like, I went and I played with Buck, and then I met Timmy, and then we had some graham crackers, and then I had milk. And do you know what kind of milk? It was chocolate milk. Do you like chocolate milk? I like chocolate milk.
His promo.
And then we did some painting, and then the crowd was chanting CM Punk, but I couldn't hear them because I was talking. And then
it was just one.
And then I got to pee.
It was just one long run-on sentence.
Yeah, it was great. It looked like, it was just like that. He talked about Elimination Chamber. Says he's beat everyone in the chamber multiple times, and same goes for Dave Bautista. Says he's the best and the main attraction of Raw, and that's when Triple H comes out with Stephanie, which I thought was funny when he said he's the main attraction of Raw, and Triple H comes out. More CM Punk chants at that point. They say maybe they should put their faith in someone else. Maybe Randy Orton's not the face of the WWE. Orton will be put against each competitor of the chamber, and should he lose, they might consider a new face. And with that, they announced that Daniel Bryan will face him first out of those 5 tonight in the main event.
I guarantee you that if CM Punk hadn't walked out, this match would not have taken place.
No.
I knew they were going to feed Bryan to him right away. I'm glad they did, but like I said, I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I was trying so hard.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Oh,
little Mosey's on alert.
Yeah. The Shield took on Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, and Big E Langston. The Shield win, of course. Ambrose pins Big E with his finisher.
After tagging himself in.
Yep, I was getting to that. Reigns had hit the Superman punch and was about to spear Big E when Ambrose tagged himself in. The Wyatts had make their presence known. They cut a promo.
We're here.
Saying that... Come out wherever you are.
We're naked under our beards.
Says
that's a big beard I'm wearing right there. Oh my gosh, I got hair.
He says more cryptic nonsense. Says that what the Shield doesn't realize is that he has always been your king. Run.
Oh, I'm gonna come out wherever you are. Look at this shirt. It's Hawaiian in nature. And I got
white pants on.
I got that like red eagle looking thing on my shirt inside. And then I wear this straw hat. Cause your argument's made of straw. And I'm the big bad wolf and I'm gonna blow you down, Shield.
I think you should have a Red Bull before every show.
We're here.
We're here.
Hey, look, I just lit this lantern, but when I come out, it's going to be an electric lantern or battery powered. Just check it out. I just press this little button, it turns off.
I have some bad news for you.
What?
Bad news, Barrett.
No, don't say it.
Was terrible this week.
Shut up. No.
Absolutely terrible.
I thought you were going to say they canned the gimmick.
I hope they do.
Oh, my God. No.
If Bad News Barrett is like this every week.
Look, here's the thing.
No.
If they have him feud with Jerry Lawler, I'm quitting wrestling. I am quitting it. I just hope he gives him a heart punch straight to the chest.
It would be his first feud in like 2 years.
My question is, I asked this to myself, why is he not wrestling?
Because he's...
Is he hurt?
No, he's asking for decorum.
I need some bloody decorum.
He's got some bad news about people who watch the Super Bowl.
I'm afraid I've got some bad nudes. These are nude photos, but the quality is not very good. I've got some bad nudes.
Says people ate so much food they won't even survive till next Super Bowl. King then interrupts him and says he's got some bad news. Hopefully he won't be around next week.
How is that bad news? I've got some bad news
and
for
then
you. Hopefully you won't be around next week.
And then the segment ended. It was the worst. It was just so stupid.
That is the opposite of decorum.
Christian took on Jack Swagger. Christian won. Betty White is best for business, apparently, because she's going to be on next week, and they announced it at that point.
B-Dub is BSB, or no, BFB. I'm sorry. I don't know BSB's Backstreet Boys. Betty White is joining the Backstreet Boys.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a backache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heart attack.
Tell me why.
I never wanna hear you say I can't remember.
Yeah, you can. Come on, everyone knows that.
Have weak bones.
You like a wiener.
Stop it.
Okay. The New Age Outlaws took on Code Dust.
We're here.
In a
wrong
steel
tag team, sorry.
Cage match for the WWE Championship. Tag Team Championship.
Oh, good save.
Yes. CM Punk chance once again. We want Punk chance, but this was a great match. Really
they didn't
good
chant, but this was a great match. But this was a great match.
Finished by a moonsault from Cody Rhodes
Yeah.
off the top of the cage, which was slightly botched because
I was
the
gonna,
Road Dogg couldn't
I was gonna say
move to the left a few inches.
How about not having a 44-year-old responsible for catching the guy doing the? Do you think he really dicked up his shoulder on that, or
I mean, it's tough not to.
Yeah, and they showed it in slow mo. But WWE has that effect where they have the cameraman like jerk the camera at the last second to make the impact more incredible, I guess. And it stinks because it makes you question, oh, did he really get hurt? Did he really do that? So I couldn't tell if he was just doing a really good job of selling.
I'm sure it didn't feel good.
No, they couldn't have.
But after the
Mogul,
moonsault,
that's like 15, 16 feet. I give a lot of credit to Cody Rhodes. Wow, man.
wow, he don't know how good he can be.
Yeah, that there's a champion.
Moonsault off the top cage hits the Road Dogg, but he wasn't the legal man.
No, he was not. Billy Bunn was.
Cody's hit by the Famouser right after and gets pinned by Billy Gunn. The match was great. It was a weird match though to have it in a cage match, a tag team match, and then like you had to tag yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's like no room in between the
tornado tag. I thought, okay, the Outlaws have already shown that they don't have the best stamina and endurance at this point in their careers. But I still thought a tornado tag like we saw with Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, and the Usos, you could just lay in the corner and rest all you want. And I thought they would do that, but for whatever reason, they had the tag, and it felt weird.
It did, but it was a good match. Zack Ryder took on Titus O'Neil, a heel Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Heal. That's what they're going to call him. Oh my God, look at hashtag Titus O'Heal is trending worldwide.
That'd be good.
He doesn't know how good it can be as hell.
This was in
He just got rid of Darren. Don't you dare compare Darren Young to Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons is a world champion, a former world champion. I never treat Ron Simmons that way.
That was when The Miz was on the mic. The Miz was mad. He wasn't on Raw and walks out like we talked about earlier. O'Neil wins with his weird new music. I don't like it at all. But obviously they're going to start pushing him, which is cool. He's a big dude. Santino took on Fandango. Turns into a dance contest between Summer Rae and Emma from NXT. I'm okay with this. I'd rather watch a dance contest between those two. Emma wins. The crowd didn't seem to know what to make of Emma at this point, but trust me, she's freaking hilarious.
It didn't help that the guy who brought her out was Santino.
Santino.
Although Santino can be over with a lot of the crowds.
Evolution.
This crowd did not really care.
I like a sign.
They were like, we're watching this and CM Punk isn't here.
Yeah.
Where's
CM Punk? Sheamus took on Curtis Axel. More CM Punk chants. Sheamus wins with a bro kick. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I've got to say about that. Batista and cutting promo, and ADR comes out. He tells Batista he's a chihuahua, afraid of Alberto Del Rio.
They stepped on each other's lines a couple times,
yeah.
And it got a little uncomfortable because Batista was kind of looking over off to the side like, what? I'm supposed to react to what you just said there?
Alberto nails Batista with the mic and apparently turned heel because there were C chants, C from the crowd. I don't know if you heard that.
I did.
Batista recovers and chases ADR out of the ring and then takes off his shirt.
That's where I got.
Apparently, they're going forward with.
That's
that.
where I woke up. Like I was.
Oh, I bet
was
you
like,
did wake up.
It's like, give him a Dave bomb. Give him a Dave bomb.
Batista.
I loved when Randy Orton was. He just kept, and Dave. He just kept saying Dave over and over again.
Dave. Yes. Okay, the Wyatts took on Truth, Ziggler, and Xavier Woods. The Wyatts pinned Ziggler after Sister Abigail. That's when the Shield come out in the Titantron, cutting the similar promo to the Wyatts. And I like this.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, the Shield.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose, who was on The Art of Wrestling on a great episode recently.
Dean Ambrose? Yes, he was.
Did you check that out?
Oh, I loved that one.
It was a good one. They cut a promo saying, we don't live in a world of boogeymen. We don't live in a world where there's a monster under our bed. I thought it was great. Bray laughs and yells, he welcomes this war. Bring it to me. I like the stuff. I like the promo so far.
I'm glad that they will be distracting each other for a while. And I think what we're going to get out of this is a Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose feud for the United States Heavyweight Championship.
I can see that. Our Divas match of the night was Naomi versus Oksana. AJ's on the mic wearing a hat. Oksana nails Naomi with a knee to the eye, which looked really painful. I mean, she was obviously hurt, and I saw a photo of this afterwards. Man, it looked brutal.
Did someone call her mama?
No, unless she was the emergency contact.
Good one.
Thank you.
Past shows, I would have just totally blown by that. Not even called it out. But that was great.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Yes, Naomi looks really hurt, but she gets a win still and recovers, but still looks shook up after the match. I got some news on that. She had a bruised eye socket and a scratched retina, but she's not expected to be out for very long.
What's with eye injuries? 2 WWE superstars.
I don't know.
Going down to eye injuries.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, you are just rolling tonight.
That left our main
event. I gotta raise my game.
Main event of Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton.
Please, it's Dr. Ton.
Great match.
It was good, but like I said, I kept falling asleep.
Did you go back and watch it at least?
Not yet. I have not deleted it yet, so
All
I will watch it.
You should check that out.
But I do remember it being a lengthy match.
It was.
I remember the finish and everything.
They came out at like 9:35.
Yes,
for the main event.
And in fact, when I saw that, I thought there's going to be a lengthy segment after this show. There wasn't, so that was okay with me. I love the quality wrestling matches, and those two can put on a show together.
Bryan had the upper hand when. It's Corporate Kane. That's what they say every time.
They kept calling him
It's
that.
Corporate Kane.
Oh my God.
That's gotta be Corporate Kane.
It's gotta be CK. It's gotta be CK.
It's what's his real name?
Glenn Jacobs, and that's Glenn with 2 N's.
It's Glenn CK. Glenny comes down, tries to interfere, but Bryan thwarts him twice, and then Orton goes for the RKO, but Daniel Bryan escapes and hits the running knee to win. Orton and Kane attack after the match, and he gets a big choke slam.
For his troubles.
For his effort.
Team Hell No. Going at it. Aw, Team Hell No.
Hell yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was Raw. I didn't like it, honestly.
I didn't either. It felt empty without Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, John Cena, as much as I hate to say it, and CM Punk. And I'll tell you what, as a punishment, WWE, you guys care so much about your precious little TV ratings. I didn't even turn on the TV. I didn't even turn on my cable box, or my satellite dish box. Sometimes when I'm not around, because I like you so much, I turn on the box and I turn the channel on, so it gives you credit for the live view. I didn't do that.
Shit.
I didn't do that because I am angry with you. You and I are fighting. We got beef. We got 100% Angus beef, and it's so delicious and yummy.
So how many... I mean, I know I asked you about Ludes earlier, and you said no.
Yeah.
What else did you take?
I had an 8.4 ounce Red Bull, and I have kind of a runner's high. I ran 5 miles. Oh, good for me. No, I'm just kidding. I did run 5 miles right before this, so I kind of have a runner's high.
Yeah, I think
5 miles outside in 5-degree weather.
I think they made a mistake on Raw by not addressing CM Punk.
I agree, but you may have converted me with your stellar argument last week on episode 60.13. Is that what we're calling it? This could all be a part of the show. And here's the thing. It may not be right now. He may have walked out in anger, and they're gonna play it. Don't look back in anger.
I heard
Don't
you
look
say
back in anger.
my favorite
I
song.
heard you say. And so Sally can wait.
We got like 5 minutes.
She knows it's too late as she's walking on by. That's for our UK friends. Stop it. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Get on task. Okay,
but don't look back in anger.
I heard you say. Okay, stop. Quiet. I hate you. I'm losing my thought. I can't remember my point. Okay. But they've got time to smooth things over, and then they can act like this was all a part of the show. So by not addressing it again, They can make it feel real, whether it's real right now or it's all fake. It's going to be good.
Take me to the place where you go,
where nobody knows if it's not a day. Please don't put your life in the hands of a rock and roll band. We'll throw it all away. Gonna start a revolution from my bed. 'Cause you said the brains I had went to my head. All right, that's enough. Quiet, you stop it. I'm getting up right now. I'm taking my headphones off, walking out of the room and getting another Red Bull. Stop it. We got a top 10 list. We got a top 10 list. Okay.
What is the top 10 of?
It's top 10 worst gimmicks. I did in WWE history. You did in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Which is impressive that you know the entire history of professional wrestling. That's
I'm an impressive
congratulations, man.
I'm an impressive man.
We're gonna go through my list first.
I just wrote down some names. That's all I did.
We're gonna go through my list first, and I'm gonna try not to talk like the Micro Machines guy. 5 people will understand that reference. Okay.
So
Matt, seriously, I'm gonna punch you in the jaw.
Oh, dang.
I'm really gonna punch you in the jaw.
Shit.
And I've never punched anyone.
Damn.
I'm gonna punch you. Okay. Top 10 worst gimmicks in WWE history. First, I have to give an honorable mention to Tensai, and here's why. Tensai coming
Sweet
out
tea.
as like the Japanese beast or whatever. That's cool and everything, but not when you are a guy who clearly was Albert, Prince Albert, A-Train, the Hip Hop Hippo, all that. You can't do that and expect it to get over when people know that you used to have a hairy back and danced like an idiot. And now you go back to dancing like an idiot. Okay, that's why he's on there. That's an honorable mention. But no, number 10, the Blue Blazer, Owen Hart. And here's why it's a terrible gimmick. The Blue Blazer by itself is not terrible, but putting a guy with the talent of Owen Hart and making him be the Blue Blazer is ridiculous at that point in his career around the time of his death. And clearly they were doing it as a punishment for Bret Hart's departure from WWE.
Yeah, it was a shame.
I was going to say I don't want to monopolize the conversation. So
did you have anyone on my list, on your list? Cuz I'll just read them then.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do.
First one?
Second to last one.
Second to last?
Yeah.
This one?
Yep. I have that one.
Okay, so I'll let you talk about that one. I have Oz, and that was Big Daddy Cool Diesel before he came to WWF at the time. T. Turner owned the Wizard of Oz, and they were trying to capitalize on that, and somehow, so they came out. It was ridiculous. You got to watch he debuted on some pay-per-view, and it was just terrible. It was awful.
I saw it, not live, but on that YouTube I was telling you about. Check it out sometime. My number 9 worst gimmick is B Squared. Remember B Squared, Bull Buchanan?
Not really.
Okay,
no.
well, I'll give you a quick rundown, everybody. Bull Buchanan, originally, Barry Buchanan is his real name. He wrestled as Bull Buchanan. Initially in WWE, he was the sidekick of the Big Boss Man in 1999, 2000. It was post-corporation when Boss Man was done with the corporation. And he wore the same outfit, the flak jacket and everything, looked like a cop. He was a corrections officer. And he was tough. He's a big guy, tough guy, looked cool. But when John Cena adopted the rapper gimmick, B Squared was his sidekick, and it was Bull Buchanan, and he went by B Squared. Now, again, that gimmick by itself probably isn't stupid, or as stupid as being worthy of the 9th worst pick, but because Bull Buchanan was who he was before, and Bull Buchanan went from being the sidekick of the Boss Man to being a member of the Right to Censor with Steven Richards, the Good Father, Val Venus, and Ivory.
Oh, yeah, the Good Father.
Yeah, Bull Buchanan was part of that group too. So B Squared's my number 9.
My next one is the Shockmaster. And this is more because of his initial entrance where he fell, and it was supposed to be this big debut, and it just felt like it literally fell flat on his face, and so did he. And it just looked terrible. You
know who the Shockmaster was, right?
Who remind me?
He was Tugboat and then Typhoon, Earthquake's tag team partner.
Oh, yeah.
When he was Typhoon, or when he was Tugboat, he was Hulk Hogan's buddy.
Nice.
My number 8 worst gimmick in WWE history is Mordecai. Now, if you didn't watch wrestling at this time, you would have missed him quick because he didn't last very long. But he came around, I want to say like 2005-ish or so, maybe even a little later. And he came in to be this rival of The Undertaker's. He wore all white, this terrible outfit. He had like white hair, white eyebrows, white facial hair, like blondish, whitish. And it was just weird. He was supposed to be like this not a magician, but just this like supernatural kind of guy. And it was a terrible gimmick. I think the wrestler by himself would have been fine in another gimmick, but it didn't last. And he was only on for like, I think maybe one pay-per-view cycle, like a month or little over a month. He wasn't very good.
Crazy. Mine, I mean, it's kind of a tie for like 6 through 8. And it's all fake people. It's fake Diesel, fake Razor Ramon, and the Underfaker. Diesel and fake Ramon came out after there was WWF was suing WCW because they were using Scott Hall basically with the same mannerisms as Razor Ramon, the Cuban, heritage, the toothpick. It was basically Razor Ramon, but without the name. They were saying like, we own these characters, and to prove it, they were gonna like bring out these people. And heel Jim Ross was like their manager for a minute. It was just all terrible. And then the Underfaker story was just bad, but they had the big blow off at SummerSlam where the real Undertaker came back and beat him. So
my number 7 is Max Moon. The man went on to be Conan in WCW, but prior to that, he was Max Moon in WWE. He was a cyborg from the future. And no one knew he'd turn out to be Conan, which was a moderately successful character, especially in terms of WCW.
Come with me if you want to live.
But yeah, Max Moon. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so that's my number 7.
James Cameron.
And that's all I got to say
James
about that.
Cameron, come with me. My number, I guess, 5 would be the Spirit Squad. They sucked. I hated them.
I didn't like them
That
because
is all.
they monopolized so much time, and you had 5 guys in one group.
But
And
Dolph Ziggler came out of it, so that was good.
Yeah, Kenny Dykstra. Okay, I'll go through a couple here. Battle Cat at number 6. That was Battle Cat with a K.
Oh, yeah, I
Just a
remember that
dude who
one,
wore like a
actually.
cat mask.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Fantasio. I remember when he came out, and I think he just wrestled on like the, JV Saturday night show. But he had like a magician gimmick. He had his face painted like kind of like a mime, and he pulled stuff out of his mouth and did different things, which I think at a different time would have been cool. I mean, in the 80s, it would have been cool. But I mean, he was, later in the 90s, it was like, oh, okay, what are you doing, dude?
My number 4 is Bastion Booger. Everyone knows him. Everyone hates him. Well, they don't hate him, but I mean, come on, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
He was a big boy. My number 4 has zero to do with the wrestler and everything to do with the gimmick. Eugene.
Yeah.
Nick Dinsmore, the wrestler, an incredible wrestler. Guy could have come in and just been Nick Dinsmore as he's been elsewhere.
I actually kind of liked Eugene.
Listen, hear me out.
Okay.
The gimmick that they have, okay. Part of me will say, yeah, it's kind of cool that they had this guy and modeled him after an actual fan. But I thought it was a little insulting that you'd have this guy who clearly was supposed to be mentally disabled, and he was this wrestler. It never.
I know what love is.
It never made me feel good. And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I'm offended. I'm not. But it just seemed like, really, you don't need to do this. This is stupid. Sure. Although I will say, when I had my interview with WWE, or my phone interviews, they had me write up a Raw episode, and the way I started it was that Eugene got into an argument backstage with somebody, not an argument, but he got into like a little scrum with somebody, and he got hit in the head with a chair. And I think I had just like a jobber like Val Venus, and I said jobber.
Knocked him smart.
He was kind of doing jobs at the time, but Val Venus came up to him and was like, "Are you okay, Eugene?" And Eugene like shakes his head and goes, "Who's Eugene?" And that would be the gimmick now, that, oh, he just got hit in the head and now he's a normal dude.
No, he's not mentally challenged.
Yeah, I
anymore.
guess. I don't know. But that was the key part, and I think they liked it. So
Yeah.
But they never did it.
No. Number 3 for me is Isaac Yankem, DDS. Obviously, Glenn Jacobs, Kane, before he was Kane. I think he pulled out like Bret Hart's or Owen Hart's teeth or something like that. It was just dumb.
He was Jerry Lawler's dentist.
Oh, really? Well, there you
go. Number 3 for me is Harry Beaver Cleavage. And do you remember the Headbangers?
Yeah, I remember the Headbangers.
So you remember Thrasher and Mosh. Well, Mosh, real name Chaz Warrington, stopped being Mosh for a little while and was Harry Beaver Cleavage. And this was just in the heart of the Attitude Era. And he had this incestuous relationship with his like mother/girlfriend manager. And they'd run these vignettes for Harry Beaver Cleavage. I can't believe I'm even saying that right now. And he, I think, lasted only a couple weeks, maybe even like a month or two at the most in that gimmick. He wrestled a lot on Sunday Night Heat. And then he went back to, it didn't go back to, he went to being himself. Like, they abandoned the gimmick because they realized how ridiculous it was. And he was just Chaz. Then he's like, oh, I'm just Chaz. I'm just a regular guy from New Jersey. I'm Chaz. And so he wrestled as Chaz for a while. And then he teamed up with D'Lo Brown, and they made the tag team Lowdown. And they came out in, like, Adidas warm-up pants. One of them wore black with white stripes. The other wore white with black stripes. And Tiger Ali Singh was their manager. This would have been like 2000-ish or so, 2001. And then at some point he went back to being Mosh, and they brought Glenn Ruth, Thrasher, back. And they reformed the Headbangers, which I think is one of the most underrated tag teams in WWE history.
Cool. I don't remember most
You're getting
of
a
those
lesson,
names.
son. You're getting a lesson.
I'm learning. Number 2 for me is the Gobbledygooker. And I don't know if you remember that one, but didn't
Are you kidding?
He hatched
Of course I remember.
Of course you do.
That was the same Survivor Series that Undertaker debuted, 91.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But he hatched out of an egg, did he not?
He did.
And then he proceeded to wrestle as a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Just the stupidest idea I've ever seen.
I've never told anyone this, and I'm serious. Prior to the Gooker coming, and I think this is why he's up there with the worst gimmicks, is the hype of this egg was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being...
It was like the countdown for Y2J.
I was so excited to find out what is in this egg that will hatch at Survivor Series. I cannot wait to find out. Will it be a wrestler? Who will it be? And before the egg ever hatched, I had a dream that the egg hatched and out came a newborn, human size, like adult human size, but a newborn Macho Man Randy Savage. And he was like covered in afterbirth, and he was all like groggy, and his eyes were, barely like, just fighting to get open because he was being born out of an egg. I had this dream, and I'm like, oh my God, Macho Man is in that egg. And I mean, I'm like 10 years old. I'm not like 10 years old. I am 10 years old. And I'm thinking, gosh, have they had a wrestler in there that whole time? Because I'm 10, and I don't want to say that I think wrestling's real, but I never thought that, oh, wait, it's weird that these guys are fighting with each other, and then for some reason they don't start fighting again until the next week on TV. Like, they didn't settle it backstage, or they didn't settle it on the road somewhere in between shows. But I thought that, oh my God, they've got a guy in that egg, and I thought it was Macho Man. So then when it did hatch, and it was the Gobbledygooker, I was like, this is a ripoff. You're a phony. You're a
big fat phony.
Hey, everybody, he's a big fat phony.
Well, there you go. More history.
I've never told anybody that.
Macho Man. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if
Macho Man covered in afterbirth?
Like, I'm ready to wrestle.
My number 2 is Kizarny. This guy who also wrestles under the name Sin Bodhi. He was this Carney-like character, which I guess isn't too far off from his real-life personality. He also has been a guest on The Art of Wrestling. But just the name Kizarny, it's like, really? Like, you can't
it's
just...
like Shazam or something.
You can't just be Carney. Like, you're going to be Kizarny. Like... And this happened. I think this happened like maybe around 2005 or a little later, like way too late for a guy to actually be named Kizarny. He only lasted a few shows. He was on SmackDown, and just not a good gimmick. And yeah, whatever.
My number 1 is 3 Count, because they forced me out of wrestling. They were so bad. I started watching them on WCW, I believe. Is that correct?
WCW.
And I was, I remember watching it and going, I can't watch this anymore. And I checked out literally for over a decade.
Wow.
It was like 2000.
Yeah.
99,
Evan
2000.
Courageous, Shane Helms, and Shannon Moore. 3 count.
Yep. And that was it for me. I just punched out, clocked out for the day and didn't come back for 10, 11 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's worthy. My number one terrible gimmick is Mantar. He also made an appearance on your list, so we were saving him for the end. He was my number one worst gimmick. Okay, kind of a cool idea, but really, it's kind of like El Torito. He looks like Mantar, but then he was just this guy who had a regular human body and then had this giant like water buffalo head, and that covered his torso. I mean, it had to be hard to move, hard to breathe, hard to see, and how they ever thought that was going to work is beyond me.
It was like the opposite of a minotaur. It was really weird. But that's
the opposite of a centaur.
Whatever. Minotaur. Okay. But yeah, that's our show for you guys. I know we ran a little over, but be sure.
What time is it?
We're at
How many
hour
time?
10.
Holy balls.
Yeah. It flew by. It was fun. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Immortals PCast, at 97Bush, or at Jimmy Bellamy. Facebook, YouTube. I was uploading stuff all day, so
sweet.
You got new episodes on there. Check us out on podcastingimmortals.wordpress.com. We got some exclusive articles there that were written by me and Jimmy, basically me bitching about not meeting CM Punk. But yeah, that's
and WordPress and Podbean. Use WordPress, Podbean, and also iTunes. Check us out on iTunes. Subscribe,
rate us,
tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a teacher, and also leave us a review. And again, we love hearing from. Oh, we have an email question.
Oh yeah,
email question. We'll plow through this real quick. Our email question of the week. Can't believe I forgot this. But thank you, Mr. Ryan Stavely, repping Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Woot woot.
Yes.
Good to hear from you, buddy. We appreciate it. He says, just wanted to give a shout out to you all the way from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. I thought I'd email you guys and let you know how much I appreciate listening to your show on a weekly basis. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that, Mr. Stavely.
Thank you.
Here's a question for you. Do you think with CM Punk leaving the DVD, leaving the DVD, what the hell am I thinking about?
Where'd CM Punk go? He's not on my DVD anymore.
He's gone. Somebody stole my Punk DVD. He says, do you think with CM Punk leaving WWE, will it have more of an impact on current stars that are part-timers? It almost seems that his walkout has overshadowed the value of Batista, Lesnar, also soon to be Hulk Hogan, if he comes back like you've been saying multiple times, and The Undertaker. Do you think fans will begin to part ways with the once in a while wrestlers and begin to respect the workhorses of the WWE? Thanks, guys. Ryan Stavely.
That's a great question, by the way.
That's one that requires a lot of thought on, I think, well, definitely my part because I'm slow. But I think that you're going to see fans, the hardcore fans, throw their allegiance towards the guys who are doing it inside and out the ring every day. Like Kofi Kingston comes to mind. He's a guy that I could see people throwing their support to. I think you're going to see Dolph Ziggler be another one.
And I think that's already begun. Honestly, the last 4 years or so, when The Rock came back, now Batista and The Undertaker and Jericho and RVD and possibly Sting and all these people that are now part-timers, Brock Lesnar, the backlash has begun, and you can see it from the crowd. When Batista comes out for his first real in-ring action in 4 years, people were booing him. They were booing him, I mean, because Daniel Bryan wasn't in there, the workhorse, of course. But people, I mean, even when he came back, Batista, it was kind of dead. And this was all before CM Punk ever left. And I think people are really starting to realize, why are we cheering these guys who haven't been here for 4 years? Why aren't we having CM Punk in the main event? I mean, this is the problem that WCW ran into in the late 90s. They were bringing all these guys over from WWF, and while the WWF kept making new stars rather than relying on old talent, And that's when the Stone Colds and the Rocks and the Triple H's and Mankind and all these people became big stars because they were given the opportunity. And I think they're hurting themselves. I mean, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, all these guys can be main event stars, and they just haven't been given the opportunity.
You saw how quickly The Rock wore out his welcome when he kept making those sporadic returns. In the thick of a feud with John Cena, a guy who often was booed, especially when he was going up against The Rock, started getting cheers because The Rock kept coming with the same old garbage.
Same shtick.
Yeah, the same shtick over and over again, and he looked surprised when it stopped working. And of course, then he had that bit where he had to like write his script on his hand, and he took a lot of flack for that.
Yeah.
And people are tired of that. And you named a bunch of guys that I think will get the praise that they deserve from WWE. And I'm hoping that this part-time thing will be a phase, that they'll stop doing it. And I think they'll find a happy medium.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to have Raw broken down into segments per year. You're going to have 3 or 4 months at a time where you'll get a cycle of characters used 3 or 4 months at a time, get some time off, bring in a new group. Just because people are going to get to the point where, as performers, that's all they are going to have to do. They might be financially comfortable. They might be doing other things that they aren't going to have to work constantly. And I'd like to see that for everybody's health.
Yeah. I think CM Punk leaving is just going to be a huge wake-up call to the WWE and to their fans. But we do need to wrap this up.
Yes. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Email your questions to podcastoftheimmortals@gmail.com.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Slip inside